Hi guys, this is Aaron. I decided to do I'm sorry I haven't been uploading the other day. I said I would do something to commemorate the new year even, but it's really a day late. But yeah, if you're wondering, I was at my sister's house, and me and my sister and my nephew and and my sister's boyfriend, and we were having a have a little mini New Year's party. He ate and we did eat a lot, and I almost fell asleep a few times with how much I ate, and I don't need you guys to know about that, honestly, but yeah, I just wanted to wish everyone a happy new year, and Karen said it's okay if I talk about her and Jacob, but and she's not gonna let Jacob be in it, and she doesn't want to be in it. That's the problem. I made the channel, for my friends to see me making videos, and none of my friends want to be in my videos at the moment. I mean, he said he doesn't mind, but and no one said, oh, and no one's begging me to, and no one I know is begging me to be part of my videos yet. I'm hoping before the end of this year, I'll have at least 5 people I know, begging to be in my videos or make videos for my channel without me knowing. But I will give my friends permission. Definitely, they do. They'll always have my permission, but anyway, I need to stop mumbling and get to what I wanted to make this video about. I'm basically going to be talking about how some things that happened in the last year that I really stood out as far as sports, news, and and, and and that interests me, things that happened at tournaments in the last year, and my dating life, etc. Uh, anyway, one of the biggest stories of last year that really stood out to me was the Newtown shooting. I can't believe that and something is and like that would happen, but shortly after the shooting, I told the congregation at my church that, and I and say and pray for their families. Uh, and that was around the same time my nephew, Jacob, got sick, and he didn't really, and he's really too young to understand it right now, and how many kids died in the tragedy. A lot of them, a few of them were close to his age, and and I'm hoping he doesn't ever have to go through that. It was a terrible tragedy, and definitely something that stood out for me. Other things in the news, I'm very happy Obama got reelected. My dad was not too happy about it because I mean, he's not anti-Democrat, but he's not a full Democrat anymore. But he's not anti-Democrat, but basically he's been voting Republican a lot the last 12 years, and in the last 12 years he's been a Republican. That's longer than I've been voting, basically, because 12 years ago I wasn't even old enough to vote, and now I vote Democrat, and and because of disability rights issues. There hasn't been much in terms of disability rights issues that I wanted to touch on this year. They haven't made any laws that would benefit me at the moment, and I was really hoping for. Disability rights seems to be a heavily ignored issue, and to me it is the most important issue, because to me, I just don't think people with autism or Down syndrome should be confined to living with family, or in a place where they will be unhappy. And I want them to have a place where they can learn their independence, and that's why I want that to be a focus in the new year with the political standpoint. As far as sports stories go, one of the things in football this year was that the New York Giants won the Super Bowl, and I was not too happy about it. I thought that and and Cowboy and I never liked the Giants, honestly. And if anyone's wondering what football teams I watch, I tend to watch my favorite right now is the Dolphins. At the same time, every year I pick a team that I thought was robbed, and luckily this year the team I had as a team to watch is actually in the playoffs this time, and so I may choose to go with them next year if they don't win the Super Bowl this year. And that's not too often it happens. I don't always pick a Super Bowl winner, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But yeah, this year I had and the Vikings as a team to watch. I had picked them as a team to watch because they weren't playing the Giants at all, and I didn't want to jinx myself by picking a team that would and then have them lose to the Giants, because that really jinxes me when I feel like watching a certain game and then I find out they're playing the Giants. And it actually happened to me twice this year. I was with my sister traveling home from a tournament and a few weeks ago, and I told her I feel like watching a Steelers game, and that week the Steelers were playing the Giants. Luckily they won that game, so I'm happy about that. And the week before I was wondering about how the Cowboys, and lo and behold they lose and the Cowboys lose to the Giants. But I really don't need to talk about the Giants that much, but you know, I'm over it and the thing now, because a few years I was on my way to the Christmas party, and I was when I got to the Christmas party, I found out that the Giants were shut out by the Falcons, and that was a moment I really loved. Yeah, he and David were watching the Steelers game, and I at the party, and I wanted to separate Paul and Adrian, and so I could tell Adrian that her game was on, but Paul, he tends to be a little overprotective, of her, and usually I have to separate them when I have to tell one of them something, but that's just me. If I need to tell them something and they are always hanging around someone, I separate the two, and tell them what's going on, and that's I consider that a good sign of friendship if you want to tell someone what's going on. But yeah, I went off point with what I wanted to talk about in my vlog, so I'm gonna make it a little longer than I normally do. But as far as TV shows I've been watching over the last year, I wouldn't say I'm completely happy with all the results and all my reality shows I watch. I on American Idol, it came down to Phillips and Jessica Sanchez, and during the show on Twitter, I've been doing the Team Jessica thing, and when I was on Twitter the night of the finale, Team Phillip was trending, and I was like, hello? Why are people supporting Phillip? And I don't hate Phillip. I just like Jessica more. I mean, I'd love to have Jessica and come and see me at one of my events in the future. If you want to support Special Olympics, you're welcome to, Jessica. I definitely would look forward to seeing you involved in one way or another. Same with any other alumni I enjoyed, including Elliot and Chris and Jordan and a few others. And Chris Richardson, not the other Chris, because and not and anyway, I was not too happy with the results on Survivor this year. I mean, I was and I felt this past season was really awful because a lot of my favorites went pretty early, and some of them and the three I didn't like were the final three this past season, and the season that ended in May, one of my and it kind of went downhill after Colton left, because my favorites were gone back to back to back after he left, and once again, two of my a few of my least favorites were in the finals because of how many guys they voted out in a row. I mean, you had the I wanted at least one hot male in the finals, but that's just me. And, and they gotta have the hot gay guy every once in a while, right? And that's what Colton was, in my opinion, was the hot gay guy. Yeah, he's definitely someone I enjoyed watching, but not too many people loved him out there, and not too many of the fans loved him, and I'm ashamed that not he wasn't the most loved castaway. And same with Alicia. I'm surprised she wasn't as loved as and I was expecting her to be either. I don't mean like loved by the contestants, just by the fans. I mean, a lot of them were upset and that Colton made it as far as he did. Same with Alicia. People were upset she was in the finals, and to me, it's just stupid. They're two of the best castaways to ever be on Survivor, and they're not as loved as I thought they would be. But, I don't mind seeing them on a future season together, and to make it the Colton and Alicia show. I'd love to make it the Colton versus Alicia show someday. And I'm hoping in season 26 or 27 it'll be like that, the Colton and Alicia show. And as far as next season, I'm not 100% sure who I think will be coming back, but I'd love to see an autistic contestant and I think will be very loved. And that's the type we don't see on there often, is an autistic type. I'd love to see an autistic contestant in the future, but I don't know. I don't think they'll ever do that, just because of that. But they're just, I'm just saying, if you want to know how to, that would make it a very inspirational contestant if it happened. And that's why you tend to root for her on these shows, or people from my home state of Virginia who I think will be an inspirational contestant, or who I think it looks good on TV sometimes. And sometimes you get one person that's all three, but it's more than looking good on TV that will determine who I watch. I mean, but there are people that don't look good on TV that have been in the finals before. So yeah. As far as other things that happened this year, I had some funny stories from some of the from some of the events I went to, tournaments I went to, and other things. And this year, I took a first aid class at the college, and I found and it was really good. And suddenly, I found out I was really good with the bandaging ankles and wrists and all that, and I was lucky I took the first aid class, because we had our share of injuries at tournaments this year. I mean, we didn't really have anything in Newport News, but and I brought my first aid kit to Bedford, but I left it in the room, and it turns out it would have been very useful. Because the injury one of my teammate David had, and I determined he needed some of the stuff in my first aid kit, but I realized I left my first aid kit in my hotel room, and I had told my coach, listen, I left my first aid kit and David's injured. And I need to get my first aid kit in the hotel room, and they just didn't let me use it then, and because of it. But and that's what you get, I guess. Another competition moment, I did remember to bring my first aid kit into into state games in June, and it was there was another injury there, and this time it was my friend Alicia, and she was hit in in this area here, in this area, near the nose and mouth area, and it was the same injury I had the previous year, and and I had to go out there and try to do what I could for the team, but and 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 after that she realized she was a player, and that's what happened. If you don't swing the bat, you could get injured if you don't swing all that bad. But she was in the field at the time. Our team was in the field at the time, and she was hit a ball, and and usually with me, my glove just covers my face, and she forgot that she had to cover her face with the glove and to catch the ball, and she was hit in in the area between the nose and the mouth, and because of that, and it was kind of, I know how painful it is because it happened to me the year before. But another softball moment I really remember was him. It was on my birthday, and we had a pizza party after practice, and everyone wished me happy birthday. We had pizza, cupcakes, and water, and everything was just wonderful that day. I loved the party myself. Another competition moment that stood out for me was when, when, when we were at fall games. I was at fall games playing soccer, and I mentioned on Twitter after I came back that the team had 2 injuries, but the next day I told them there was 3 injuries, and I didn't realize I had the ankle injury until the next morning, and I had realized it was from not, because I got to the field and just before we had to go on, and I didn't have time to stretch, and I ended up injuring my ankle the first game and didn't realize it, and because I didn't stretch my ankle enough, but within a few days it was fine because I went to the dentist at my school and I stretched it a little bit, and it was fine after that. And and 3 days on a sprained ankle, and I didn't realize it. And but you know, I didn't have to worry about that too much. I even had to go to the into my polling place with my ankle wrapped, and that was kind of tough. Anyway, that's my year in review, and I'll see you guys later.